Have you ever felt like someone secretly despises you but hides it behind a mask of politeness? Or maybe you've sensed that their words or actions are laced with hidden resentment, but you couldn't quite explain why. Let me tell you this: hatred is rarely loud. It's subtle. It seeps through in small, calculated actions, disguised as innocent behaviors. And if you're not careful, you might miss the warning signs until it's too late. Today, we're going to uncover the silent behaviors that reveal when someone truly hates you, even if they never say it outright. But more importantly, we'll explore how to handle this hatred using the wisdom of Buddhism, Stoicism, and personal growth principles. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about recognizing hate. It's about rising above it. So, if you've ever felt like someone was trying to undermine you, belittle you, or sabotage your happiness, stay with me until the end, because what you learn today could change how you handle toxic relationships forever. Now, let's get started. Hatred is not always loud or obvious. Often, it manifests in subtle ways, hidden beneath a mask of politeness or even friendliness. Recognizing these signs can help you navigate toxic relationships and protect your emotional well-being. Throughout history, even the most powerful figures have encountered these behaviors. Leaders, visionaries, and influencers have all faced hidden resentment from those around them. 1. Fake smiles that don't reach their eyes. A genuine smile engages the entire face, particularly the eyes. However, when someone secretly dislikes you, their smile appears forced. Their lips may curve upward, but their eyes remain lifeless. This behavior was often seen in politics. Take, for example, the strained public interactions between Barack Obama and Vladimir Putin. Despite formal smiles for the cameras, their body language and lack of eye engagement reflected underlying tension and distrust. 2. Constantly avoiding you. When someone resents you but wants to maintain social decorum, they find excuses to avoid you. They may dodge your calls, reschedule meetings indefinitely, or conveniently forget plans. In the corporate world, this is a common tactic among rival executives. Steve Jobs and Bill Gates had a complex relationship. Gates often avoided direct confrontations with Jobs, knowing that their philosophies clashed. While they maintained professionalism, their avoidance of each other spoke volumes. 3. Minimizing your achievements. When someone harbors resentment, they struggle to acknowledge your success. Instead of celebrating your wins, they diminish them with comments like, "You just got lucky," or "It's not a big deal." Even the greatest achievers have faced this. Elon Musk, despite his revolutionary work in Tesla and SpaceX, has been frequently dismissed by critics and even industry insiders who downplay his innovations. 4. Deliberately ignoring you. Being ignored can be more hurtful than direct confrontation. This tactic makes you feel invisible, insignificant, and unworthy of acknowledgement. In history, Winston Churchill faced this treatment from political rivals who disregarded his warnings about Nazi Germany before World War II. They deliberately ignored his insights, only to later realize he had been right all along. 5. Sarcastic compliments. A backhanded compliment is a common way for someone to mask their hostility. Comments like, "Wow, I didn't expect you to do so well," or "You actually look good today" are not genuine praise but subtle jabs. Donald Trump and Joe Biden have frequently exchanged such remarks during debates, with compliments disguised as insults. 6. Unfounded criticism. Constructive criticism aims to help, but unfounded criticism is designed to break you down. If someone constantly criticizes you without logic, Their goal isn't to offer advice, it's to erode your confidence. Oprah Winfrey, one of the most successful women in media, faced harsh, baseless criticism early in her career. Many doubted her ability. But she refused to let unwarranted negativity define her path. 7. Comparing you to others. When someone dislikes you, they may constantly compare you unfavorably to others. Why can't you be more like? This tactic is meant to make you feel inadequate. Even legendary figures like Michael Jordan faced such comparisons, with early critics saying he'd never be as great as other basketball legends. Instead of letting it discourage him, he used it as fuel to prove them wrong. 8. Mocking your weaknesses, rather than offering support. Toxic individuals use your flaws against you. They highlight your mistakes not to help, but to humiliate. Albert Einstein was ridiculed as a child for his slow speech development. Yet he became one of the greatest minds in history. Those who once mocked his weaknesses later stood in awe of his brilliance. 9. Lack of support in tough times. True friends and allies stand by you during difficulties. Someone who secretly dislikes you will remain indifferent, or worse, subtly enjoy your struggles. When Nelson Mandela was imprisoned, many political figures distanced themselves from him. Only after he gained international recognition did some attempt to align with his success. 10. Seeking to make you feel bad. A person who resents you will find ways to put you down. They may disguise insults as jokes or make subtle comments that chip away at your self-esteem. Mark Zuckerberg, despite being one of the most influential tech figures, has faced relentless attacks from rivals and critics who seek to discredit his achievements. 11. Spreading rumors about you. Toxic people spread misinformation to damage your reputation. Throughout history, countless influential figures have faced smear campaigns. Abraham Lincoln was constantly targeted by political opponents spreading falsehoods about his character and policies. Yet he remained steadfast in his mission. 12. Enjoying your failures. One of the clearest signs of hidden hatred is when someone secretly delights in your misfortunes. They may pretend to sympathize, but their eyes betray their satisfaction. Jeff Bezos, as he built Amazon, encountered critics who wanted him to fail. Yet, instead of letting their negativity consume him, he focused on long-term vision and success. Hatred doesn't always come in direct attacks, it often hides in passive-aggressive behavior, subtle dismissals, and fake kindness. Recognizing these signs allows you to distance yourself from toxic people and protect your peace. The greatest leaders, thinkers, and visionaries have all faced this, but they refused to let it break them. So, if you see these behaviors in your life, don't let them define you. Instead, follow the wisdom of great minds, stay focused, keep rising, and let your success silence the hate. Hatred is rarely random, it has deep psychological roots. Understanding why someone harbors resentment toward you can help you navigate these situations with wisdom and composure. One of the most common reasons for hatred is jealousy. When someone sees you succeeding in an area where they struggle, it triggers resentment. This is particularly common in high-stakes environments like politics and business, where figures such as Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, two of the most powerful individuals in the tech world, have often found themselves in silent rivalry. While their competition is professional, their successes fuel a complex mix of admiration and animosity. People who feel jealous may not openly express their feelings, but their actions often reveal their resentment. They might downplay your achievements, avoid celebrating your wins, or even spread subtle negativity about you. In reality, their hatred isn't about you, it's about their own insecurities. Insecurity is another deep-rooted cause of hatred. When people feel insecure about themselves, they project those feelings outward. If someone feels unsuccessful, unappreciated, or stuck in life, seeing you thrive can be a painful reminder of what they lack. Take Kobe Bryant, for example. Throughout his basketball career, he faced relentless criticism from rival players, coaches, and even fans. Some of the harshest critics weren't just opposing teams, they were individuals who wished they had his discipline, work ethic, and drive. Rather than improving themselves, they chose to direct their frustration at him. Personal projection is also a key factor in the development of hatred. Psychologists often talk about projection, the idea that people transfer their own flaws onto others. If someone secretly dislikes a trait in themselves, they may start resenting you for displaying it. Steve Jobs, for instance, was known for his relentless pursuit of perfection. While some colleagues admired him, others resented working with him. Many of those who disliked him were people who also had high standards but lacked his ability to execute. Instead of improving themselves, they turned their frustration into dislike. Sometimes, hatred isn't even about you, it's about the person carrying emotional wounds from past experiences. If someone has been hurt, betrayed, or overlooked in the past, those unresolved feelings can be redirected toward you, even if you've done nothing wrong. In world politics, for example, we often see deep-seated rivalries that go beyond personal disagreements. Leaders like Barack Obama and Donald Trump, representing vastly different ideologies, have had supporters who projected decades of resentment onto each other. This isn't just about the individual, it's about a larger emotional and historical narrative. Buddhism and Stoicism offer wisdom on how to handle hatred. Buddhism teaches that hatred is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It doesn't harm the person you hate, it destroys the one who holds onto it. Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius also believed that external negativity should not dictate your inner peace. The best way to handle hatred is to rise above it. Instead of reacting with anger or resentment, recognize that their feelings are rooted in their own struggles. The most powerful response is to stay focused, maintain your peace, and refuse to let their negativity consume you. Hatred is an unavoidable part of life, but how we respond to it determines whether we suffer or remain at peace. Instead of reacting emotionally, we can turn to two of the world's most powerful philosophies, Buddhism and Stoicism, for wisdom on handling resentment with strength and grace. Buddhism teaches that hatred cannot be defeated by more hatred. The Buddha himself stated, "Hatred never ceases by hatred, but by love alone is healed." This is an eternal law. This principle is evident in how great leaders have handled opposition. Mahatma Gandhi, despite facing intense hatred and violence from British colonial rulers, refused to retaliate with anger. Instead, he responded with non-violence and compassion, ultimately leading India to independence. His strength came from inner peace, not vengeance. So, how does Buddhism suggest we handle those who hate us? First, we practice equanimity, which means not letting their negativity disrupt our inner peace. We also try to see their suffering. People who harbor hatred are often deeply unhappy or struggling with their own issues. In response, we send them loving kindness, using practices like metta meditation to cultivate compassion, even for our enemies. However, this doesn't mean tolerating toxic behavior. Compassion doesn't require submission. The Dalai Lama, for example, has faced decades of opposition from the Chinese government but remains firm in his principles. He doesn't respond with hatred. Yet he also doesn't allow injustice to destroy his mission. Stoicism, on the other hand, focuses on maintaining emotional control and setting clear boundaries. According to the Stoics, hatred is a reflection of the person who harbors it, not the one it is directed at. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once said, "If a person gives way to anger, realize that they are hurting themselves more than they hurt you." A great example of Stoic resilience is Barack Obama. Throughout his presidency, he faced relentless criticism, and even outright hatred from political opponents. However, instead of reacting emotionally, he often remained composed, responding with logic and humor rather than anger. This emotional control allowed him to lead effectively without being consumed by negativity. The Stoics recommend 3 key strategies. First, control your reaction. You can't control others, but you can control how you respond. Second, set clear boundaries. Don't allow toxic people to have power over your emotions. Finally, practice indifference, ataraxia. Their hatred only matters if you let it affect you. A powerful Stoic mindset is to ask yourself, why should I let their hatred disturb my peace? Does their opinion truly matter? And what does their hatred say about them, rather than me? By mastering this mindset, you free yourself from being emotionally controlled by others. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic Roman emperor, led with wisdom despite facing constant betrayal and political enemies. He knew that giving in to hatred only led to suffering. Both Buddhism and Stoicism agree that responding to hatred with anger only fuels the cycle. Whether through Buddhist compassion or Stoic emotional discipline, the key is to remain unshaken. Hatred is a burden that belongs to the hater, not you. The strongest response is not revenge, but peace. So, if someone truly hates you, the best response is not anger, not revenge, but wisdom. Recognize the signs, don't be naive. Understand the source. Their hatred is their burden, not yours. Respond with higher wisdom, use Buddhist compassion or Stoic indifference. Because at the end of the day, your energy is too valuable to be wasted on people who thrive on negativity. And here's the final truth: the most powerful response to hatred is to keep rising while they keep drowning in their own bitterness. So, let them hate. Let them seethe. And while they waste their energy on resentment, you focus on your growth, your peace, and your happiness. Because nothing defeats a hater more than seeing you completely unbothered. Final thought: what do you think? Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever dealt with someone who secretly hated you? How did you handle it? Do you resonate more with the Buddhist or the Stoic approach? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I read every one of them. And if you found value in this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs this wisdom. Until next time, stay strong, stay wise, and keep walking your path to peaceful horizons.